Having once seemed on the verge of extinction, the city builder genre is flourishing once again, not just on PC but on console as well. You've got City Skylines, the upcoming Surviving Mars, Tropico 6, and now Aven Colony. Gamers are going to be spoiled for choice in the near future, with games that cater to different settings and different scopes and sizes for what you want to be able to try and build. Coming from Mothership Entertainment and Team 17, Aven Colony spirits you away to an alien planet many light years away from Earth, putting you in charge of a burgeoning human colony. Starting from the humblest of beginnings with just a few little pods connected together, it's all up to you to build up the basic infrastructure before pushing on to create a fully functioning and somewhat more independent city. The heart of your colony is the construction drone facility. It's from here that your handful of kind of worker bees will fly out to construct the various other buildings that you want to create, bringing them into existence with a resource known as nanites that are produced in turn from various metallic ores that you can mine. However, you'll also be juggling all of the necessary resources for human life. You need habitation space, a source of clean and filtered air, water, different foods, power, and a few sources of entertainment wouldn't go amiss either. That's a lot to keep track of and juggle, made all the more complicated when considering that farms can grow around a dozen different types of crop, that you need storage space for all of your produce, and you can make things from other resources, not to mention the scientific research that goes into that and the links that you need back up to the colony ship in order to grow your settlement. Thankfully, managing all of this on a console gamepad is actually fairly intuitive. Camera control is on the two analog sticks as you'd expect, while construction is handled on a square grid, with you simply having to bolt buildings down alongside each other to connect them up to the colony as a whole. You can also use tunnels to create a few thoroughfares for your citizens to go through so they don't have to walk through an industrial plant or a trade facility in order to get to their home. The game has a radial menu for this, but there's a lot of categories of buildings, so it isn't always easy to find exactly what you're looking for, and you might want to pause the game while you try to search for the particular building that you want. With so many different statistics and resources to keep track of, this could be an absolute nightmare. I'd still love for Mothership to find a way to display things a bit more intuitively, but having a string of glanceable info boxes along the bottom of the screen that you can then expand using the D-pad is actually a pretty simple system. There's also map overlays that live in a menu that you access with the left trigger, letting you see things like the range of the construction zones, the suitability of land for farming, different types of crop, and a few other visual details. Of course, this being an alien world, there's more than a few hazards to human life. In fact, they'd probably not manage to survive outside of your habitat in the first place. Even within the safety of the habitat, the long cold nights and shifting seasons can seriously impact the solar energy production, meaning that you either need to invest in the less efficient wind turbines, or find a hot water spring that you can use for geothermal energy, or build battery stores so that you can save up solar energy and then unleash it during the night. Further to that, a number of hazards can sweep in, both environmental and from the alien life forms that live on the planet. Expect to see and have to counteract huge lightning strikes, or, maybe something more exotic, like giant fireballs spewing alien worms. Delving into the sandbox mode, and it's actually surprising how difficult the game becomes for a relatively inexperienced player, where the first few story missions lead you through the motions of setting up this building, that resource collection point, or drawing water from that patch of ground, and so on. Sandbox mode takes away these crutches. You're inundated with a series of step-by-step objectives in the campaign, and there's always little rewards for these, but the only one at the start of the sandbox is to build up and get to 50 colonists, and then 100 colonists, and so on. My first attempt at Sandbox, I got just to the point of thinking, I should actually build a mine and get some nanites going, only to discover that I'd foolishly rushed ahead with building habitats and God knows what else, and then had no nanites left in order to, build a mine in the first place. My second attempt was going much better, but I'm still getting repeated warnings for various resource crises, whether they're gradually sliding food and water levels, or the nighttime forcing various facilities to shut down because they don't have enough power. I certainly expect that a more competent and cautious approach from a more experienced player will get much better results, but there's still that little hint of a more survivalist slant to the game in sandbox mode, which isn't necessarily there in the early campaign missions. Though I've yet to delve too deeply into the game just yet, Aven Colony is looking like another great addition to the city builder genre, carving out its own little niche on this alien world, while showing that this is the type of game that can thrive just as well on console as it can on PC. Thanks as ever for watching, and do like, sub and share this video if you've enjoyed it. I know that there's a lot of people out there that love city builders, so feel free to shout out in the comments what you'd like to see, and we will try and follow up with another more in-depth video down the line, even though we're only allowed to show a few of the early missions. Hopefully you'll join us again for that, but for now, goodbye!